There's Kevin LeVar with A Heart That Forgives. Kevin, why don't you just come on over here and let's talk about this song. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful song. It's really not. It's more than a song. It's really a prayer, isn't it?
It is.
And it seems to me that you were extemporizing a bit there. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Yeah. I mean, I'm not an artist, but it seemed to me that there was something kind of urgent and immediate about the song, which gives it even greater power and depth, I think. You know, I'm looking at your credits, and I'm not going to waste your time or flatter you, but man, you've appeared everywhere around the world. You've been on all the major TV shows and churches, and very highly regarded, highly respected. But is it A Heart That Forgives that really has kind of taken on a life of its own and sort of given you a ministry that you might not have imagined?
Had no idea that it was going to do what it's doing. God did it.
Yeah.
He took the song that I least expected. It was the most simplistic song on the project, just myself, piano, and a cello. And has blessed millions of people's lives with it. I mean, set people free. We've gotten testimonies that you wouldn't believe. A woman came up to us in New York City and said, my father impregnated me twice, and he just died, and he never said he was sorry. And she says, but I've been listening to your song, A Heart That Forgives, and it's been helping me. And another gentleman came up to me in Memphis, Tennessee, and he says, my son, my only son, 17 years old, was just murdered and was a mistaken identity. He said, but as I was listening to you sing the song, A Heart That Forgives, in the service a few moments ago, I began to weep in my seat, and God gave me the grace to forgive the man that murdered my son. So there are people that are dealing with some serious issues, and I had no idea that God was going to use this song to help them out like this. It's amazing what God is doing. I take no credit.
This is one of those rare instances, Kevin, where art transcends itself. I mean, there's something more to this than lyrics and a tune.
Yes, sir.
And even an artist.
Yes, sir.
There's something about this that touches the heart of the listener in a profound way.
Yes, sir.
Did you write it?
I did.
Did you? Now, was this coming out of your own experience?
Yes, sir. Several. I went through a season where, I just dealt with a lot of hurt, and I had people steal from me. I had my heart was broken, by
a girl?
Someone that I loved. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And but God, He's a healer. He's a healer, and I can tell people that now. But I gotta say, when I wrote the song, I wasn't in that season. Yeah. So when it came, there was no specific hurt or situation in my mind. Actually, I wrote it because I saw friends of mine who had become bitter. And I saw they used to be full of life and full of love and so hopeful. But now they were just bitter and they no longer were optimistic. And I said, God, no matter what takes place in my life, I don't want my love to be shut down. I don't want my compassion to ever, stop. And out of that desire, out of that prayer came this prayer. He gave my heart what to pray, which was, I want a heart that forgives, that lives and lets live, no matter what takes place. And so it's a futuristic prayer, really, because I wasn't thinking so much about what I had gone through. I wasn't using the song to overcome something I was dealing with in the moment, but it was a prayer. God, I want a heart that is able to handle hurt and still love like you love.
It's counterintuitive, isn't it? Forgiveness. I mean, what we normally want is revenge.
Yes, sir.
Get even, justice.
Yes, sir.
And the assumption is that if we forgive this, for instance, this girl who was impregnated twice by her father, he's never said he's sorry. So this is going to be a one-sided thing. I'm just basically rolling over and being a wimp if I forgive him. The guy should, be castrated. Right. He should be hung. Right. He needs to get his. And I'm endorsing his bad behavior by forgiving him. And yet, if you don't forgive, it becomes like a major blockage in your spiritual arteries.
Absolutely. Well, Jesus says, if you don't forgive those that have offended you, I can't forgive you. And I don't know about you, but I need the forgiveness of God often.
Yeah, well, how do you pray the Lord's Prayer and not forgive, right?
Yeah.
Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Now, this doesn't mean it's easy.
No.
Do you think forgiving means to forget?
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. Not at all.
How can you forget?
It's hard, man. It's hard to forgive. To forget, and it's tough to forgive, but you do it with God's help. I was talking to some abused and battered women at this conference, and the Lord had me to say to them, even if you don't have the words to say, just say help. God help. I know what I'm supposed to do. Will you help me? Because some people have gone through things that we couldn't even imagine. Yeah. I mean, I thank God that He's shielded my life, and I know I've gone through some stuff, but compared to what others have gone through, it doesn't even compare. But God can help you. No matter what you're going through, He can help you. And I take it like this. Forgiveness, you make a decision to forgive. You say, God, I forgive that person, but the pain and the feelings and the emotion, God has to take away. Because there's no way in the world that woman that was raped twice and impregnated by her father, there's no way she can handle that by herself. It's going to take an extraordinary kind of love.
Yeah. Now, as we said a moment ago, this song has taken on a life of its own, and you have a whole ministry that's evolving.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We want to raise 1 million acts of forgiveness. God put it on my heart between now and July 4th, 2011, because we want way more than 1 million. Right. But this is to go beyond music. We want to make it a campaign. And so we have. We call it the Forgive and Live campaign. A campaign to inspire 1 million plus acts of forgiveness. So I'm going to metro stations, I'm going to metro rails, churches, concert halls, television shows, everywhere to compel people to forgive and live. And they can go to my site, forgiveandlive.today.org, and they can actually log in their forgiveness testimony. But we're going to every single state within the United States between now and July 4th, 2011. And so it's something that it's beyond, as you said, it's beyond the church walls, it's beyond music. I really believe we're going to have rallies, we're going to have speakers, people to talk and share their testimonies and how they've been able to overcome through the power of forgiveness. And so we're going to run it like a political campaign. Yeah.
Now you need infrastructure for this.
We're working on it now. I would say if somebody can help, we need your help, because it's not about money. I just want to see people get free. I told the Lord I'll sing this song wherever He opens the door for me to sing it. I'll talk about forgiveness and the power of, Christ to forgive. And we do need help. We need help.
What does this mean to Kevin LeVar, the singer/entertainer? I mean, you go into music because you have a gift, and you enjoy standing in front of people, and people enjoy you standing in front of them and thrilling them with your music, and there's a certain adulation factor, there's a remunerative factor, there's fame, all of that stuff. This transcends all that. Has this blindsided you?
This is different.
Yeah, totally. And I'm wondering, maybe this isn't fair, but how many like you do you know out there who are in the gospel music culture, who have, maybe through no act of their own, just through the sovereignty of God, have suddenly been catapulted into a whole different level of communication with an audience?
There are those that I definitely look up to in the industry that are taking it beyond performance. Yeah. Oh man, there are some out there. Jason Upton, right. He's one. It's Israel Houghton. His initiatives. There are some, but they're few and far between.
Yeah, no kidding. I've been in the ministry for 40 years, and it's very, very seldom I've encountered someone in the gospel music subculture who transcends that subculture to impact the world. Yeah. Now, you need to be prepared to be surprised. This thing is going to explode.
I know.
I think going to far more than 1 million. Yeah. And it'll probably go viral. It'll probably sweep the world. Are you prepared for this? Like, how are you going to cope with this? Justin Bieber, sings a song on YouTube, and now look at what's happened to him, right. And so many others. When you have something that really hits a chord.
Yes, sir.
Have you got somebody who is mentoring you, someone who is protecting you?
My pastor, Pastor Terry Wayne Millender, and my father.
Hey, you got a good dad?
I have a really good dad. He's a pastor, Pastor Joseph Gray.
You are a preacher's kid. I'm not surprised.
I'm a preacher's kid.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So am I. Well, there you go.
But I believe in prayer. I believe in, having people around you that will tell you the truth, and because when people start patting you on your back, you have to be careful. The flesh is the flesh, and so the flesh loves to be
As soon as you start believing your own press releases, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
But this is about, but see, that's the thing. We're going to roll our sleeves up. This isn't about Kevin.
Yeah.
This really is about people getting free.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's the key to so much being unlocked. And not only the body of Christ, their lives, but the world. And I believe that this is going to be an evangelistic tool, because there are people who are going to hear this message of forgiveness and say, if Christ can help me get over what my mother did to me, I want Christ.
After watching the midterm elections, I'm wondering if there are some politicians that need to forgive one another.
I was just at a rally and it got intense. I sang A Heart That Forgives at a rally. There were senators and congressmen, and it got a little intense.
I watched some of those political ads, Kevin, and I said to my wife, I said, it's kind of like I'm watching America's Most Wanted list here. Yeah. I mean, they're just trashing one another.
Yes.
I mean, trashing, $3 billion spent on trashing one another.
Yes.
Forgiveness is to start at home, huh?
It is.